Today I'm having some fun. I'm always having fun, but today I'm having even more fun than usual, I hope. I'm a very lucky girl and I was gifted this great present for Christmas of bubble tea. Now, I've seen bubble tea on the internet, but I've never tried it before. And I'm sure the tea itself is going to be delicious. What could possibly go wrong with a sweet milky tea? I'm not at all convinced about the tapioca bubbles in the bottom. They sound a bit gross, to be honest. I think it's a love it or hate it, a bit like Marmite. So we'll see. I have had my pack opened. It's a really good package. Perfectly well suited for sliding through a letterbox. Who is it by? Bubble Heaven. Bubble Tea Home Kit. Milky matcha bubble tea with Taiwanese black chewy tapioca. Yes, it's the black chewy tapioca that kind of puts me off. So my kit is great. We'll do a kit review. In my kit I have really clear instructions. I read the instructions, they're really precise and clear. The tapioca pearls, of course. I've got enough for 3 portions, which is 75 grams. So I thought that was interesting information. Should I love it and want to make more myself. A matcha powder, which is very green. So I'm presuming my finished tea is going to be a green bubble tea. And I'm quite intrigued to try the matcha powder. I don't know if there's any other way of replicating this at home. Some tea bags, of course. We have an Asian black tea. And 3 big fat straws to suck up those disgusting tapioca pearls. They might be amazing. Just the concept is, oh, why would anyone, really? So I read through my instructions and got myself some things prepared and ready to make my tea. I need a litre of boiling water in a saucepan to cook my tapioca pearls. And although this makes 3 portions of tea, I can cook all my pearls in the same one batch. So that's quite good because apparently they're going to take the best part of an hour boiling on the stove. So I've got myself a saucepan ready to boil my tapioca pearls in. I've also got a jug ready to make my cup of tea. Now I'm using a jug because I need to pour this tea into my matcha powder, so if I didn't want to make it in a teacup and be dribbling and slopping it everywhere. So I'm going to make my tea in a jug. They suggest using a cocktail shaker to mix all your ingredients, but said it's absolutely fine if you don't have one, just stir it vigorously in your mixing container. I don't have a cocktail shaker, but I do have a Kilner jar. So I'm going to use my litre-sized Kilner jar to shake and mix bubble tea mixture. Now I've chosen a litre jar because each of my 3 portions is actually 500 millilitres. That's a lot of tea, 500 millilitres. So you get 3 500 millilitre portions in my box. I have no idea how much this cost because it was a wonderful gift from my friend. And I don't know if I'm going to like it. It might be disgusting, but I have every hope it's going to be delicious. Except for maybe these funny little guys. I'm still not convinced. We'll see. So to start off my process, I've given myself a bit of a head start. I've already boiled my litre of water in the kettle. So saucepan to the stove. So here we go, let's make a start. Saucepan on the stove and a litre of water that I've already boiled to give me a quick head start and measured as well. Cut open my pearls. What do they smell like? Ooh, they smell kind of vanilla-y. They don't look good, but they smell nice. Anyway, in they go. And a spoon to stir them around. All the crummy bits in the pack have made the water all brown. This seems an awful lot of water for these relatively small amount of tapioca pearls. So that's them boiling in a pan. Exciting video, not. So while my bubble tea bubbles are cooking in the pan, I thought I'd go ahead and make my bubble tea tea. A problem I've come across, although the instructions are very clear, is it asks me to use 1/3 of my matcha powder making my tea, but in nowhere does it tell me how much powder there is in my packet. So I've tipped all of my matcha powder into a Kilner jar in order to weigh it, and worked out that 45 grams is 1/3 of my packet of matcha powder. So I've put 45 grams back into the pack that I'll use today to make my tea, and I've kept the remaining 90 grams in this jar. It's a good storage point, even though the pouch comes with a nice strong Ziploc seal on it. Now it's in the jar, it might as well stay in there. And if I really like the tea, I have 2 more portions to make next time. And if it's revolting, I'll probably pour that in the compost. I'm sure it's going to be delicious though. So let's go make some tea. So my instructions were quite clear and very specific. Boil my water and leave it to cool to 95 degrees C. Well, I've done that. Place a tea bag in your cup. I'm using a jug because I know I'm going to need to pour this in a moment. And add 250 mils of my water. So another point where the jug is useful, I can actually measure my 250 mils of water. And leave that for 5 minutes to do its tea brew thing. I'm actually going to give it a stir. It doesn't say anything about stirring it. So we'll leave that for 5 minutes to brew. Then it wants me to add, we'll move the tea out of the way, 1/3 of the pouch of matcha powder, which we've now worked out is 45 grams. I'm going to use this Kilner jar as my cocktail shaker. So in goes my matcha powder. It's like a science experiment, this. Great fun. Next step, now I need to add 100 ml of my brewed tea into my matcha powder. Just going to give it a quick stir, get lots of tea flavour. And out comes my tea bag. We've been brewing for 5 minutes as per instructions. There we go. And then the instructions are to stir this well and make sure it's all mixed in. So a good mixy stir we will do. Glad I have this long spoon. Green grassy mud. My next instruction is to fill my 500 ml container with ice. Now I've actually got a litre container here, so I'd have room to shake things around. And this is all the ice I've got. Whether it'll be enough or not, I don't know. But that's all we can have. So in goes the ice. To about the halfway mark at most. If it's not enough, I'll add some cold water. All over the worktop. How are we looking? No, that's definitely not halfway up. I probably want to quite a bit more. Let's put some water in it. I'd say that's about half. Add the remaining tea. Gosh, we're going to end up with like a litre of mixture. Well, that'll be our mixture. And then we're going to add our bubbles to it. Screw up my jar and shake. This is my tea, ready to pour over my bubbly pearls. Tea bubbles. So now my pearls have been sitting in the heat for a further 30 minutes. They should be ready. Now, the consistency of this is weird. It's like, I don't know, a slimy jelly goo that they're floating in. Anyway, we need to drain this off. So I'm going to run it through a sieve, which hopefully will stand the heat of these boiling tapioca pearls. I want a rack to put this on. Don't want to melt my worktops. And these need water pouring on them. Let me get them out of there. Ooh, looking pearly like. Out you come. This is cold water I'm adding them to now. There's quite a lot of jelly goop stuck in my sieve. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Right, so pearls in cold water. I'm going to rinse that through again. Put some more cold water on them. Through the sieve. Shake off the excess. Tip in my pearls. Ew. Goopy. No, definitely got a pan full of pearls. Now to this, I have to add 3 teaspoons of Demerara sugar. Which will make them nice and sweet. So 1, sprinkling it around, 2, 3. I've got slightly heaped teaspoons. I like sweet. I'll use my wooden spoon again, just stir those about. The wetness of the pearls should dissolve that sugar into a sugary syrup. Then we'll be ready to assemble our tea. Ooh. Now I have to say, I made my tea a little bit ahead of time. So I did rescue some of my ice cubes out of it and pop them back in the freezer to stay icy. I've chosen my gold straw to try with my first ever bubble tea. And this long tall glass, so hopefully it'll look Instagram worthy. We will see. So I suppose a third. There's an awful lot of tea. I'm going to end up with more than 1 glassful out of this mixture. 500 millilitres of tea. So a third of my bubbles. I don't know. Don't need a third of them. Am I supposed to pour them around the glass? No, I can't see the colour of the sugar. Right, so in go our bubbles for our bubble tea. Another scoop. Yes, why not? The tea was really quick and simple to make. The bubbles are a lot more hassle. An advantage I would say is if you like it, you can make like a week's worth of bubbles in one cook. I don't know if they keep much further than that. I would store them in the fridge. So I'm swirling this around the glass so that that syrupiness is up the edge of the glass. Apparently it has a stripy effect when you pour the tea in. I think it would need to be a darker colour though. Let's move this pan out of the way. So, bubble tea, here we go. I'll put my ice in. Put my ice into my tea. I'll put all of my ice in. There we go. And in goes the tea. And some for a refill. Stir it about. Use my straw. Cheers! Gosh, that's a fat straw. It's a nice tea. I think I'd like it slightly sweeter, but that's easily changed. Put a bit more sugar in, or honey or syrup. Can I get a bubble? Do I want to get a bubble? Oh, I'm not sure. No taste to the bubbles. They're not as foul as I thought they might be. It's just about, oh, got lots lots of them now. Yeah. Flavourless, chewy, jelly sweet. It's definitely about texture, not taste. And surprise. I'm taken by surprise. It's not as unpleasant as I thought it would be. I don't know. The jury is out. It's not foul. But it's not amazing either. The tea itself is really nice. That Black Asian matcha tea is a really nice iced tea. I can do without the bubbles, I think. They look great. They don't add anything to the drinking experience. Not in a positive way. Surprise! Yeah, definitely. Children's chewy jelly sweet. I love the tea. I could happily do without the bubbles. It's been fun! Thank you for my wonderful Christmas present. It's cost me nothing to play and try a new experience. One for the bucket list. I've tried bubble tea. I don't hate it. I would have it again. I'd much prefer it without the bubbles though. So cheers. And bye for now. Oh, mouthful of chewy bubbles. Have fun. We'll see you next time. Well, hello again. A little update on the tea. I've added a little extra sugar. That's my own personal taste palette. And I really do like the tea. It's delicious. And the little jelly bubbles, they're growing on me. Actually, I think I could get to quite like them. Not totally convinced yet, but yeah. Don't hate them as much as I thought it would. I've been making donuts today as well. So I'm going to treat myself to an afternoon snack of fresh homemade donuts and green bubble tea. So cheers! And remember, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Those bubbles are certainly an experience. They definitely take you by surprise every time. Oh, I've just noticed you can see my latest fun project in the background. The black sheep against the wall here. I have a tiny flock of plastic sheep. And they used to be white sheep, generally out in the garden just as a bit of fun. And a few years ago I painted one of the sheep black, as in Baa black sheep. And I really like the black sheep. She looks gorgeous. I much prefer her to the white. So this year I've decided I'm going to paint the rest of my sheep black as well. So I'll soon have a little flock of black sheep. I've been really pleased. It's been good fun.